Hello, Zemalf here and welcome back to Beginner's Guide to Dwarf Fortress, a tutorial series where I'm building an example fortress showing how to build a fortress and how to help the dwarves survive. In this video I'll talk about the basics of military. I'll show how to create a squad, how to order that squad around, how to set them a place to train at, and go on from there. The military is a very complex area of this game, or it can be very complex. I try to cover the very basics here and then the kind of more advanced stuff as we go on in the upcoming videos. So to begin, I will just create a military squad, and that starts with choosing a military commander. When you start a game, you embark, you can create military, and in some cases you should create a military from the initial 7 dwarves, assign them all into military. As long as you don't activate them, you keep them inactive, they will take care of their civilian jobs like they usually do, but if the time arises you can call them all to arms, whatever weapons you happen to have, and order the squad around. Here however I have a couple of dwarves from the migrants who have nothing to do. I have looked them up before. Kip here, Litast and John. They don't have any critical labors, or they are doing their labor with zero skill. Basically I can assign any dwarf to replace them if the time comes. And when you are picking dwarves into the military, first thing is that make sure they are expendable. If you have a legendary weaponsmith, that dwarf's place is not in the military unless you have 10 legendary weaponsmiths, and if that's the case, good for you. But the point is, dwarves in military will die. That's the assumption you have to go with, and you can go as far as picking only single dwarves, so that no one will go sad when these dwarves die. I rarely do that. I just play along, but you can really handpick your military if you want. One thing I do look at is do I have any dwarves with military skills. I only have one dwarf who is currently my bookkeeper and manager, and I will let her take care of that job now and not put her in the military, even that she has some skill in hammer dwarf. Other things you might look at if you are using this Splinter Mind attributes version of Dwarf Therapist, then you can see the stats. You can look at that kind of how good potentially they will be in the military. For example, this Kip fellow is very strong, very endurable and very tough. So in the end pretty much an ideal soldier from those stats point of view. But most importantly, I look at if the dwarf has nothing else to do, the dwarf will be in the military. And how to create that military. Oh, one more thing. You might want to look in the military commanders and the captains. You might look that do they have any teacher skill, because the military commanders and captains tend to be the ones who are leading the demonstrations and trainings when the soldiers do it. So if they have teacher skill, that will help, but that will train over time, so don't worry about it too much. How to create military. You go to the noble screen and you assign a militia commander. It starts with this. So noble screen with N, militia commander, and I will make that Kip Gildrendok, who I chose, the militia commander. They don't have any requirements, but Kip is now the militia commander. If I go into the military screen with M, here I see that I can now create a squad led by this militia commander. Now that I have the commander set, if I go back into the noble screen, I can also assign militia captain, and after that I can assign several more militia captains. And for each militia captain I assign, I can have a squad in the army. For example, Kip here as a militia commander could lead my melee dwarves, and then I could assign another militia captain and create a marks dwarf squad, something I will do later in this tutorial, by the way, and I won't assign militia captain now. So you only need militia commander. And if your fortress is big enough and the sheriff has turned into captain of the guard, you will also see the captain of the guard here in the militia screen or military screen. And you can create squad for the captain of the guard. And the squad you create for the captain of the guard will basically be the police squad for the fortress. I haven't talked about justice in this tutorial. I will later on when I actually get the captain of the guard. But just to let you know, if you have played on, you have a large fortress and you see here in the militia screen captain of the guard. That's the reason. Okay, C to create a squad. And here you can select a uniform. These are the uniforms you have to choose from by default. You can create your own custom uniforms, and I will cover that later on in the tutorial. For now, we are creating a melee squad. Choose leather armor. If you have a hunter or you have been doing a lot of butchering, you have leather, you have been creating leather armor. And if you have found iron ore or metal ores and you have the means to create metal armor, choose metal armor. We can customize this later, but for now, choose the one you have the means to create armor for. So I will choose metal armor because I have found iron ore and can create steel armor for this squad. And here we can see now Kip, the militia commander, is the first dwarf. And I will, and the squad gets a random name, in this case Tenacious Mountains. And I will move here into the second available spot and go through the dwarves and choose the other dwarves I want to be in this squad. And based on the uniform, whether the uniform has melee or ranged weapon, you will, or if it has some specific weapon chosen, something we'll cover in the uniforms part, you can see if the dwarf has relevant skills here, in addition to seeing it in the dwarf therapist. Because I only have that one hammered dwarf, I can see her here, that she's an adequate hammer dwarf. However, this dwarf won't go into the military right now. Instead, I will choose John the waxworker, and then from the end of the list, Litast. And that's my military right now, just 3 dwarves. I will expand it later, but to keep this relatively short, that's what I'll go with. The uniform has, or the default uniform, very quickly showing it with N. The metal armor has an individual choice melee weapon in it. So these fellows will now go pick any weapons I might have in the fortress available, including some axes that the woodcutters might need. And to start with that, for those weapons, I'll create more gear in the upcoming episode, but in this tutorial fortress I happen to have a lot of galena, and galena has a chance to produce silver bars, and silver bars turn into great blunt weapons like warhammer and mace. So I will create a couple of silver warhammers for my dwarves. I think I have at least a couple of charcoal. So I will, while at it, also add an order for more charcoal. And then let's make 4 silver warhammers for now. Just to make sure, looking at the stocks, that I have the silver. Yes, I do. Good. Okay, that'll be it. Have I assigned enough wood to be chucked down? Not really. I will do it here. I will assign all the wood to be chucked down from my fortress to the northeast corner. I tend to do this kind of in these sectors. So now all the wood in the northeast will be cut down. Next time I cut down a whole lot of wood, I will assign all the wood from the southeast, then southwest and northwest. That way the dwarves don't go stepping into the growing trees too much. But anyway, so that's the wood cutting set up, and now I have the military squad set up. If I go into the military screen and alerts, I can see that the Tenacious Mountains are now inactive. There is a default schedule of active and training. I will look into the schedule in more detail later on, but one thing you might want to check out is choosing the schedule with S. And you can see here that this is the active and training schedule, and this schedule is training through all the months of the year. But here we can see that they should train with 2 minimum dwarves, and I like to set this to about 80% of the squad. In this case, because I only have 3 dwarves, I will set this order to be train with 2 minimum dwarves. And how I will do that is to take the train here and edit the order. And I can later on show the different kind of schedules. You can either train, you can defend burrows, you can patrol a route, and you can station the dwarves at the nodes you have set out, but I will choose train. With minus in the keyboard I will set this to be 2 soldier minimum, and with shift enter choose it, or make it so. And here, if I look at other months, I can see that it's still 10 minimum, so I need to copy this 2 minimum order with copy orders C into these other orders with P based orders. And there we go. Now the active training schedule for the Tenacious Mountains is to train with 2 minimum soldiers for the whole year. And you can here, for example, remove, like set the dwarves to train something like this, so that they train they train for 2 months and then they'll have a break. But to begin with, I'll just have them train all year round. I like to have dedicated military squad, and because I have the 2 minimum set up, they will go drink, sleep, eat and have breaks when they want to, and still the rest of the dwarves can continue training. I will let the game roll here because I want those weapon racks created. I will actually max prioritize this weapon racks here, so that'll be done in the end. And where to set the training grounds? I like to put the dwarves to train at my entrance, and in this case I want them to train inside, behind my traps, because they are totally unskilled dwarves. I could put them outside to train, but there they would be the first contact against any dwarves, any enemies that come, like goblins, and because they are untrained dwarves, they wouldn't survive. So I will put them to train here inside, and that way the goblins or other enemies who come need to come through the traps before they come into my barracks. And if any thieves come here, my hunting dog will spot them, and possibly the military will be right here training, and they can engage after that thief right away. So digging out this room to be my barracks, I will only assign the barracks to be a place to train at. You can also create a military barracks where they will also sleep and store their items, but I won't do that, just assign them a place to train at. All those kittens running around reminds me that I should place some of the kittens into a cage, so that I'll control their reproduction a bit. For that I will build a cage with build and J, or B and J here, close to my butcher's shop. Totally unrelated to the military. Just happened to see all those kittens running around. And then when I go to look at this cage with Q, and then I can assign animals into this cage, just like I can assign animals into the pastures. So I will put most of my puppies here and most of my kittens, not all of them. I will leave a couple of them outside. The animals in cages don't reproduce. And with cats, the danger is that the cats can adopt owners. Dwarves don't choose a pet for themselves from the cats. The cat choose whose pet they will be. So now these puppies and kittens will come here into the kitchen, close to the butcher shop in case I want to butcher them, or I can let them go from the cage if I need more dogs or cats. But dogs and cats I already have out. Will be plenty to reproduce more dogs and cats. Anyway, waiting for the weapon rack to be completed and I can have the military a place to train at. While waiting for that, let me show you how to move the military squads around. After you have assigned military in the military screen, you have the whatever name your squad has. You can control the squad either through the schedule. You saw that there was an ability to set them to defend a burrow. For example, you can create an entrance burrow and make a schedule like maximum alert, and then you make the military to defend the entrance burrow when you activate that alert in military alerts. Similar to the active training, you would have here guard the entrance alert. But that's slightly more on the advanced side, something I will show later. But again, you probably from that description already figured out what to do. Create a burrow, create a schedule, set the schedule to defend that burrow and go from there. But manually, if you choose S as in squads, you can choose your military squads. If you have several, you will have them here and you will choose them with the letter in front of it. If you have here A, B, C, D, by using capital letters with Shift, you can choose several squads. I can't show it now because I only have one, but I will with A choose this squad, and now I can order this military squad to move. For example, I could order them to move here, and then their order would be to station here. Or I can choose any nodes I have created. These nodes are the nodes for my levers, but in the same way you create a node, you can create kind of patrol posts or station guard posts, if you will, and then assign the dwarves to guard that post. It's a simpler way than creating, well, it's not simpler, but alternative version of creating the alert, where you can, with one alert, control all your squads. But with this you can easily set one squad to guard this post, one to guard this one, and so on. I won't use this one, and I won't actually move them now. But I could also just hit enter here without choosing any of these nodes or patrol posts. And they would move here and be ready for a fight. And then after for example, let's say there would be enemies coming from here, I would maybe order my dwarves to first group up in here, and when there's enough of them here, I would give a kill order. And kill order is given with the same way. You choose the squad and choose K to attack. And when you choose that, you either move the cursor or the yellow X into whatever you want the squad to attack at and press enter. Or you can use this kind of a rectangle method of choosing. You press R and then place first corner, and you see that I'm kind of painting here with X, and then any enemies in this rectangle would come to a list, and I could order them to kill all those. Or I can press select from list, which will show all the hostile or non-friendly enemies, non-friendly creatures, including goblins and such, that are in the area that I have seen. So or are visible in the unit list, for example. So several ways from the military squads. Squads as in S, choose the squad, move them around or attack. Then choose from a list, choose one individual creature, or select multiple creatures either from a list or with a rectangle. And that way the squad would go and fight that creature. Other things you can do here is to see what schedule they are on, and you can actually change it here instead of going to the military alerts. For example, I could make this squad here active and training, or I could have them some other schedule I have set. For example, that's guard entrance schedule. But since I don't have any now, I will just assign. Actually, not assign anything, but keep them inactive. So that's how you order them around. Choose the squad, move, or give them kill orders. When my weapon rack is ready, I will build it here in my barracks, and then I will make that place for them to train at. Still waiting for it because the mason is doing other stuff. In preparation actually for the next video already. Let me see, have I already? No, the miller has not yet done the job. Okay, never mind. That'll have to wait. Soon I'll have a weapon rack. And if you want the military to train at, you need to create a barracks or place for them to train at. If you don't have that, they won't train. So now I have the weapon rack. I will build an R for a weapon rack, and I will place it right here in the entrance. And when that is built, a dwarf will carry it here and build it just like a table or bed or such. I will choose it, and with R create a room for it, just like you would create a bedroom or such, and pressing enter. And here I have a list of all my squads. I only have one, and with this squad selected, I will press T as in no, I won't resize the room. I will press T, which is right next to the R, and assign this to be the training area for the Tenacious Mountains. And now the dwarves have a place to train at. If I place some beds here, this would also be a place for them to sleep at, or this could be a place for them to store their items to, instead of their personal rooms. I usually keep the dwarves in their individual rooms, unless I have some really elite military squad that I need to keep constantly ready for a fight right next to an entrance or something. But I won't usually create a sleeping barracks. But anyway, this is now assigned as a training area. So the military should train, right? No, because they are still inactive. And give yourself pat in the back if you knew that already. So in alerts, instead of having the Tenacious Mountains as inactive, I will go into the active and training, choose the Tenacious Mountains, and set them on schedule active and training. And this is the schedule that we before already modified in the military screen schedule and created that it's 2 minimum training. So now we'll see, when I unpause, if they have nothing else to do, they will come here. There's one. others might be busy. But if I look at the unit list, we can see that the militia commander is organizing combat training, and Litast, one of the military squad, is going to this combat training. So we might actually see some sparring here, or there might be a demonstration. Thank you, timer. Actually, yeah, they are sparring. We can see that there in the top left corner we can see S. If there was a red C here, that would mean combat, but with S we know that these dwarves are now sparring, and that's an excellent way for these dwarves to train their dodging, train whatever weapon they are holding, train their shield skill a bit. And if I look at, I'll let the game roll here a bit. They are dodging each other's attacks there. And now if I go to look at reports, just like I see reports for fighting, I can take a look at how these dwarves are sparring. Here I can see that they are lightly tapping the target, because they are not swinging with full force because they are sparring. But still, accidents do happen, especially when they charge each other. So before you set up a training area and start sparring, it's good to have the hospital set up, because if a dwarf happens to break a leg or nose when they are sparring, the hospital is there to save them. But here you can see how they are sparring. This is what the combat looks like in Dwarf Fortress. All right, but my silver warhammers are still in the making. If I look at the inventories of these dwarves, I can see that they don't have anything else but their default clothes, and that's what I will change next time. I will follow through by creating those silver weapons, and I will start creating steel and giving these fellows some steel armor. Because early on, when your dwarves are very untrained, they can't beat the goblins or any enemy with their skill, but they can beat them wearing very good armor. If the dwarves are wearing steel and the enemy is trying to punch them with some copper weapon, that weapon will just deflect away. And that's why I want to have my military all in steel armor, at least breastplate and a helmet. That way an enemy can't punch them or hit them in the head when they are unconscious after taking a hit in their toe, when they go unconscious from the pain. So yeah, that and more next time, creating steel armor for the military. And then while at it, we will also take a look at those uniforms, how to customize them. Now we just set that metal armor. And as this tutorial goes on, if you have any questions or some things that you would like me to cover in this tutorial, do leave a comment at below this video. Ask your question, or tell that maybe you should cover military schedule in detail, maybe you should cover military alerts or something that's unclear to you. I will then either answer at the comments, or if I haven't done the upcoming parts yet, I will cover those things in the upcoming videos. So thanks for watching this one. I hope you found this useful. Noble screen, militia commander, assign a militia commander, go to the military screen, create a squad, assign some dwarves into it, maybe tweak the schedule a bit to have less minimum dwarves if you want them to train, and then have them a place to train at, or just have the squad as inactive and order them around as needed. And this is what I meant when I earlier said that you can create a military squad from the first 7 dwarves, and then you have means to control those 7 dwarves as a military squad using the squad's order, even if their military alert is inactive all the time. Right, with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next part. Take care, bye bye.